had a sweet experience in our ward. We had ward conference, and we asked our Stake Relief Society presidency if they would teach during ward conference our Relief Society that third hour and use Daughters in My Kingdom. And they did a beautiful job. They each bore testimony of the power of this book and shared their favorite story from this book. And then at the very conclusion of the lesson, our Stake Relief Society president stood up and she asked each of us to take our Daughters in My Kingdom book in our laps and pair up with another sister in the room and let the book naturally just fall open to whatever page it fell upon. And then to read on that page just a word or look at an illustration or perhaps a sentence that seemed to speak to our hearts, and then share that with the sister that you had paired up with. And I happened to have paired up with one of my counselors, and as we opened the book, it fell open to page 114 and 115, which is chapter 7 on pure religion, watch care and ministry through visiting teaching. And I read page 115, a particular sentence literally did leap off the page to me. That morning, I had been praying about a particular sister in our ward that was having some spiritual struggles and wanting to know how best I could help her. And as I read these words, and this was the sentence, it said, since each sister's circumstances are different, visiting teachers need specific guidance from the Holy Ghost so they can know how best to help each one. And as I read that, the thought came into my mind that I needed to assign this sister a particular set of visiting teachers, and the faces of these women came into my mind as well. And that very day I was able to get the approval of the bishop to make this assignment, and the very next day I made the assignment. And within a very short period, a very sweet miracle occurred in the life of that particular sister as a result of these two beautiful visiting teachers following the Spirit and the inspiration they got on what they needed to do to help this particular sister. And from this, I developed a very strong testimony that you can literally turn to any page in this book and glean words of wisdom and instruction and guidance, and as it was in my case, an answer to your prayers. And I'm just very grateful to a very inspired Stake Relief Society president who showed us yet another way that we could use this book.
Thank you for that. I love that.
Our bishop bought enough books so that every home had a Daughters in My Kingdom, whether there was a Relief Society sister in there or not. So every home has one of these books because he felt strongly enough that the priesthood should read this book and become familiar with it.
I agree. When she mentioned that story, the beginning of that story, when the first time I opened this book and read cover to cover, this really leapt out at me. The sister in Brazil, a Relief Society sister in Brazil, who had no telephones, she couldn't call her sisters, and she says this, I have no way to reach the sisters by phone. We don't have telephones. So I go to my knees in prayer to find out the sisters that need me that week, and it never fails. And I thought how simple that is, and we who have a phone in our pocket, maybe we forget those simple ways to call and ask the Lord, call upon the Lord and ask Him, how's the best way to reach this sister?